The year 2024 is coming to an end very soon, and it's an ideal time for us to pause and reflect on our professional journey over this entire year. Either you've just started working or you've been working for a few years, reflection is always welcomed because reflection is a very powerful tool for growth. By taking stock of what have we achieved in this year, what were the challenges that we faced, the areas that we have improved or we need to improve ourselves, we are eventually getting ready for 2025. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Sonia, your host and companion on Thinking Out Loud Thursdays. And today I'm going to be sharing with you some tips as to how you can actually reflect upon how your 2024 went by. What are the things that you can pause and think about so that you're ready for 2025. Grab your cups of coffee and let's get started. But before that, please consider subscribing to my channel. Hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bells, because every Thursday I bring new episodes for all of you, which help you in some way in your career, in your professional journey. Let's get started with a sip of our coffee. Now, many of you must be wondering why I need to reflect on how this year went by. I mean, what is done. What is the past? It should be in the past. I don't need to think about it. But let me tell you, when you start reflecting on how the year went by, what are the things that I did or I didn't do, it actually helps you gain clarity on what worked and what didn't work and where you need to improve yourself. It's an opportunity to celebrate success, learn from failures, and create an actionable plan for the year 2025. Without reflection, it's like you're moving from one year to the other, and to the other, without knowing how have you grown and what's holding you back. First, what you need to do is review your accomplishments or what have you achieved in this year 2024. Did you meet all your targets? Did you complete your projects on time? Were you able to meet all your deadlines? Did you get a promotion that you were anticipating? Did you get a big bonus or the incentives that you were looking for? Have you actually jumped to taking in some new roles or new responsibilities that you were anticipating in this year? So review your accomplishments or what have you actually achieved in this year. Focus on not just the outcome, but also on the effort and the growth behind it. So for example, you did a campaign that resulted in 30% increase in engagement, in getting you qualified leads, in getting you good testimonials. Now, when you did good campaigns, now you need to figure out what went so right in that campaign that resulted in such good things. Was it good teamwork? Was it your leadership qualities? Did you collaborate with other people in a very different way that resulted in giving you that kind of an output? Did you use any new tools that you were not aware of? So you did learn new things. So I think reflection is going to help you learn so much about when you start looking at, what have you achieved in this year? And the cheat code for this would be list down your top 5 achievements that you've had in this year. Now, you could even look at 6, 7, 8, 10 also, depending on how many achievements you had. The reason I'm saying is 5, that at least in this entire 12-month period, you would have had at least minimum 5 achievements. So list down your 5 achievements, or even if you want to put down more numbers, or if you want to just write down 3 achievements, that's also fine. But please list down those 5 achievements and look at what were the skills that you used in having those achievements. To achieve that, what were your skills that you used? And lastly, what are you proud of from those achievements? Did it make you feel that, I could do that, or I've contributed to my personal learning, or you're proud of because, the customer complaints were brought down and the company benefited from it. So figure out what are you so proud of. And once you've reviewed your accomplishments, next what you need to do is you need to start acknowledging what were the setbacks or the challenges that you faced, where things didn't go right or things didn't go as planned. Any promotion that you missed out, you didn't get that fat bonus that you were anticipating, you missed a couple of deadlines in terms of submitting your projects, or you started getting a lot of customer complaints, or you felt that your other departments were not very happy with your way of working. So figure out what were the setbacks or your challenges that you faced in this year 2024. And when you're doing that, focus on why. Why did you face that setback? Why did you have that challenge? Why didn't you get that promotion? Why didn't you get that bonus? Why were you not able to finish your projects on time? And with this, when you're figuring out your why, also look at what would you do so differently in the year 2025. For example, you missed a lot of deadlines. Would you want to focus on your time management skills? And here your cheat code would be list down your key challenges, your top 5 key challenges that you faced in the year 2024. What went wrong and why did it go wrong? And lastly, what did you learn from it? Because if you're not going to be learning from any setbacks or challenges, then trust me, in the year 2025, you would be facing the same situations again and again, and you would know how to handle them because you've not done your reflection properly. So spend some time in this area as well and list down your challenges. Once you've looked at your achievements, your setbacks, or your challenges, next you need to also look at your skill development. See, I have been working for close to 3 decades now, but today if somebody is going to ask me, do you know everything? Of course, I don't know everything. I have to keep upskilling myself. I have to keep learning new things in this digital era and AI taking control of our lives. We need to know these things. So if there is a new skill that I want to pick up, I always every year list down, there are certain new things that I want to learn this year. And what are those things? And how will it help me professionally or personally? And I think the same you need to do also, that what are your new skills that you learned in the year 2024 and what is it that you would like to learn in the year 2025? So look at, did you expand your knowledge or your skills? So for example, you felt that, you were not a good communicator, but you've actually maybe taken up a course and so your communication skills have improved, and that is showing in your work when your bosses are appreciating the way you're writing emails, or your written communication has improved a lot, or the way you are actually making presentations, that has improved because you have improved on your public speaking skills also. So figure out which are the new skills that you've learned this year, because trust me, if you stop learning, you are stopping your growth professionally and personally. And when you're doing that, look at both hard and soft skills. Don't just focus on your technical skills, which are required for you to do your job smoothly, but also look at your soft skills like your time management, leadership, communication, telephone handling, email writing. So figure out which are the skills that you have improved this year and how did you improve it? Did you take up a seminar? Did you take up a course online? So how did you improve that skill? And with this, look at how has it helped you in your workplace, because you're not doing something as a hobby, right? You're doing these things because you want to improve something at your workplace or at your personal level. So see how has this improved you as a professional and as a person. Next, reflect on your work-life balance. Now, we understand that we spend most of our day at work, and so we would like to improve our work life. But please, we have a personal life too. So we need to take care of our personal well-being, our health and wellness. So reflect on whether 2024 actually took care of your overall well-being as well, your mental peace, your physical health, your emotional balance. Did you actually achieve that as well? Because see, I keep reading a lot of stuff on social media. We keep hearing from other people, from our colleagues, from our friends that, I heard about this person I knew very well. The person had a heart attack because the person was facing a lot of stress at work, or the person has a lot of anxiety because of a lot of work on his table or her table. Now we keep hearing these stories that people are facing a lot of burnout, stress, anxiety, and which is actually impacting their overall health also. Now, if you do not take care of your overall health and you're only focusing on the work, sooner or later, it'll take a toll on you. Now, figure out whether 2024 was good in terms of the balance that you maintained with your work and your personal life, or it actually was pretty a stressful year for you. And if you feel that this was a very stressful year for you, then it's time for you to actually set some boundaries. If you feel you have too much of work, then start delegating some of your work to other people. where you are not supposed to be doing that project, but you've got it because the other person maybe went on leave, so you got that job. So figure out, if you have too much of workload, start saying no to any extra work that is coming on your table. And how to say no? Well, I've already done a video on that as well. I'm going to share a link also. Start saying no to that additional work. Maintain your professional behavior. Don't be very rude with the other people when you say no. So start setting your boundaries, start saying no to people, but don't be rude with them. There is a way to say no, but start saying no when you are too much overworked. Don't keep accepting more and more work coming, because that's going to affect not just your work life, but also your overall well-being. When you're doing your reflection, look at, on a scale of 1 to 10, how was your overall well-being? How was your work-life balance? Was it 4? Was it 5? Was it 10? 10 means it was very good. 1 means it was very poor. So start rating. Look at, on what occasions did you feel that fatigue, that burnout, that stress? And what changes would you like to bring in the year 2025 so that you don't feel that burnout, you don't feel that stress in the year 2025? And next, what you need to look at is start seeking for some feedback. Because when you seek for feedback, it offers you a very new perspective and it'll help you identify some blind spots that you are not aware of, or you might have missed out. And here, when you're doing it, make a list of who are the people that you would like to reach out to for getting that feedback. Because it's better to go to people who are unbiased, who do not judge you, who will give you a genuine feedback and would like to see you grow in your career, rather than going to somebody who has bad intentions about you, who is biased all the time. And that feedback, when you get, it'll not be the right feedback. So make a list of people whom you'd like to approach for getting a feedback on your overall performance for the year, any improvements that they'd like to suggest. And make a note of the key takeaways from these feedbacks that you'd like to take forward to the year 2025. Once you've reviewed your accomplishments, you've looked at what are your setbacks or your challenges yet that you faced, how was your work life in the year 2024, and when you've got some feedback, when you've looked at what are the skills that you've improved or gained new skills in the year 2024, next what you need to do is set actionable goals for the year 2025. Because based on this reflection, you can actually set some clear goals for yourself. You can follow the SMART criteria that I always speak in my videos, which is a goal that is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Now, if you keep a goal that I want to get a promotion in the year 2025, now that is a very vague goal. You don't know whether you want to get a promotion. You want to get a promotion in the first quarter of the year 2025 or by Q3, because you've not specified, you've not kept a timeline for it. If you want to improve your time management skills, or you want to actually get into the new leadership roles, then you need to set that, okay, fine, for getting this leadership role, I need to improve these skills, which I need to improve by Q2 of this year, so that I'm able to get my promotion or I'm able to jump into a leadership role by Q3 of 2025. So you're keeping a very, very specific goal for yourself. Instead of saying, I'm not a good presenter, I need to improve my presentation skills. Now that's not very specific. In which areas would you like to improve your presentation skills? And what are the things that you require to improve those presentation skills? And by when will you achieve that goal? So always follow the SMART criteria, because it'll help you be focused as to what is it that you want to achieve. So always have a goal that is very specific, that is measurable, you can measure it, that is achievable, relevant, and that is time bound. And always break these goals into smaller milestones, because that's very easy to track whether you are on track into achieving that goal or not. So for example, if you think that, you would like to get into, say, a leadership role, or you would like to improve your communication skills, and for that you're saying that, okay, fine, I'm going to pick up an online course, and for that I need to devote at least 3 to 4 hours per week separately. So you will know that, okay, fine, I've kept a goal and I want to achieve it by, say, March or April of 2025. which means from 1st January, I need to devote at least 3 to 4 hours per week for just improving these skills, and for which I'm going to take up an online course. And now when you break it up, that have I subscribed, or have I actually taken that online course or not? Because if you've not taken the online course, then you're not progressing to that goal that you've kept for yourself. So always break down your main goals into smaller steps, because that way it's very easy for you to track your progress. Here, your cheat code that I can share with you is list down your top 3 or top 5 professional goals that you would like to achieve in the year 2025. And are these SMART goals? How will you achieve these goals? As to what are the steps that you will take to achieve these goals? With this, we come to the end of our episode. I really hope that you found value in this content, because every new year is like a new journey that we are about to start. And when we are starting this new journey, it's always right to look back, see what have we achieved, what are the challenges that we faced, and how we're going to be conquering this year 2025. So are we ready for 2025? I hope that this video was able to help you or give you a little direction as to how you can actually reflect and see how your year 2024 went, and what are the things that you would like to change in the year 2025. So wishing you all the very best for the year 2024, because it's just coming to an end and a lot of reflection has to be done, and there's a lot of planning that you need to do for 2025. And I'm going to see you in my next video, which is going to be even more exciting, which is going to actually add to your professional journey. So stay tuned with me. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.